Have you ever wondered how Britain quietly shaped the future of science fiction in the 1960s? While Hollywood dazzled with big budgets and monsters, British filmmakers imagined worlds that felt eerily close to reality. These were films born from fear, curiosity, and quiet genius. Stories of nuclear dread, psychic children, and science gone wrong. Many were censored, ridiculed, or forgotten, yet their visions predicted technology, society, and politics decades ahead. From London's scorching streets to minds stripped of control, these films didn't just entertain, they warned. Today, we explore 10 forgotten British sci-fi gems of the 1960s, each telling a story that resonates more today than ever before. Some feature brilliant scientists punished by their own inventions. Others show governments hiding terrifying truths, and a few even imagine society's obsession with spectacle and control. These are Britain's hidden cinematic prophecies. The Man in the White Suit, 1951. Though released a decade earlier, The Man in the White Suit captures the spirit of the 1960s perfectly. Alec Guinness stars as a brilliant scientist who invents a fabric that never wears out or gets dirty, a marvel meant to benefit humanity. But instead of praise, his invention sparks fear. Factories worry about collapsing industries, workers fear unemployment, and powerful interests see perfection as a threat. The comedy is dark, filled with absurd tension between innovation and greed. Critics debated its tone, unsure if it was satire or prophecy, yet it predicted the dangers of unchecked technological progress. Behind the scenes, Guinness struggled to balance innocence and eccentricity, while director Alexander McKendrick fought to keep the ending bitter rather than neat. Today it feels strangely modern, a world where progress itself can be resisted and perfection punished. The Man in the White Suit isn't just a comedy, it's a warning about society's unease with change and the cost of human ambition. The Day the Earth Caught Fire, 1961. The Day the Earth Caught Fire begins as a newspaper thriller, but becomes a terrifying vision of environmental collapse. Nuclear tests tilt the Earth on its axis, causing heat waves, drying rivers, and global panic. London swelters under orange skies as scientists race to understand the disaster, while governments scramble to hide the truth. Director Val Guest shot the film in stark black and white with glowing orange filters, creating a sense of real, imminent danger. Critics praised its realism, and it even won a BAFTA, but the public found it unsettling, especially its grim, hopeless ending. Guest refused studio demands for a happier conclusion, insisting that life rarely ends neatly. Today, as climate change intensifies, the film feels hauntingly prescient. Watching London burn now isn't just cinematic, it's familiar. The Day the Earth Caught Fire stands as a cautionary tale, reminding us how human error and ambition can tip the balance of the planet, and how sometimes truth is the hardest thing to face. Unearthly Stranger, 1963. At first glance, Unearthly Stranger seems like a small, low-budget thriller. But beneath its domestic facade lies chilling paranoia. The story follows a scientist who suspects his perfect wife may not be human. She never blinks, sheds tears that burn, and when he reveals classified information, people die. Released amid Cold War fear, the film blends domestic life with cosmic horror, exploring the terror of emotional control. Critics found it strange. Authorities found it unsettling. Rumors hinted it was inspired by secret surveillance experiments. The studio struggled with censorship, and American distributors cut scenes that were too disturbing. Yet, when shown uncut in London, it became a cult classic, influencing decades of sci-fi exploring alien influence and emotional manipulation. Beyond the eerie premise, the film asks a haunting question. What if love itself could be weaponized? Unearthly Stranger is a story where humanity's most intimate bonds are tested, and it predicted a world obsessed with observation, control, and the fragility of trust. The Damned, 1963. The Damned is a dark mix of sci-fi and social commentary, showing Britain at its most daring. The film follows rebellious bikers who stumble upon a secret military base housing radioactive children, victims of experiments designed for nuclear survival. Director Joseph Losey uses the glowing children as a metaphor for innocence destroyed by atomic fears. Production was chaotic, with studios delaying its release due to censorship concerns. British authorities cut dialogue referencing government corruption, fearing controversy. Yet, the story survived through foreign prints, preserving its grim vision. The children's quiet, eerie presence makes the film both poetic and horrifying. Critics praised its intelligence, while audiences slowly realized the layers beneath the surface. The Damned predicted a world where governments manipulate youth, science masks danger, and humanity faces moral decay alongside technological progress. Its haunting imagery lingers, a warning that even innocence can be weaponized in the pursuit of survival. Watching it now, one sees not monsters, but our own human mistakes mirrored in glowing eyes beneath the earth. The Mindbenders, 1963. The Mindbenders dives into psychological terror, imagining governments controlling the human mind. Scientist Dirk Bogarde tests sensory deprivation experiments. But when a colleague dies mysteriously, he becomes the next subject. His thoughts, loyalty, and emotions are manipulated, showing the dark potential of psychological control. Critics were disturbed by its clinical realism. Authorities feared it resembled secret experiments. Director Basil Dearden demanded authenticity, with Bogarde enduring near-freezing isolation tanks during filming. The film blends Cold War paranoia with moral questions, asking how far one can push science before humanity is lost. Although it never reached mainstream success, filmmakers later cited it as inspiration for works like A Clockwork Orange. Today, its predictions feel prophetic. Emotional manipulation, surveillance, and mind control aren't fiction. They are the silent battles shaping our decisions. The Mindbenders warns that the greatest frontier isn't space or technology. It's the human mind itself, and the consequences of surrendering it to those in power. Children of the Damned, 1964. A spiritual successor to Village of the Damned, Children of the Damned tells of 6 psychic children born across nations, capable of controlling minds and bending adults to their will. Unlike typical horror, the film is a moral allegory. These children represent humanity's dangerous potential, weapons too intelligent to control. Critics and authorities feared its Cold War message of anti-establishment warning, and American distributors cut references to peace. Director Anton Leder insisted on slow pacing, creating hypnotic tension rather than action. The film's silence is its scariest element. The children never shout, yet they dominate every scene. Decades later, scholars point to its uncanny prediction of debates around artificial intelligence, global governance, and moral responsibility. Children of the Damned isn't about monsters. It's about power, intelligence, and the responsibility humanity bears. Watching it today, one realizes it's not science fiction, but a quiet prophecy of evolution, both mechanical and moral. The Earth Dies Screaming, 1964. The Earth Dies Screaming opens with apocalyptic silence. Planes crash, trains halt, cities lie empty. Survivors face faceless metallic aliens moving with terrifying precision. Directed by Terence Fisher, the film blends horror and science fiction into a bleak meditation on survival. Unlike flashy monster movies, it focuses on human morality, showing arguments over right and wrong amidst collapse. The British Board of Film Censors hesitated, fearing its stark portrayal of annihilation. Fisher's production was low budget, with dry ice and minimal crews creating eerie atmosphere. Its minimalism amplifies dread, making empty English towns feel ghostly and abandoned. The film inspired later directors like George Romero, influencing depictions of a post-human world. Today, its quiet tension resonates in stories of automation, AI, and humanity's dependency on machines. The Earth dies. Screaming reminds us that even in emptiness, fear endures, and survival is as much about conscience as it is about life itself. The war game predicts not only the horrors of nuclear war, but political denial and the fragility of human society. Today, it's more than history. It's a warning. The future isn't just science fiction. It's a mirror of our own choices. The Projected Man, 1966. The Projected Man channels mid-60s paranoia about science turning against its creator. Dr. Paul Steiner invents a teleportation device meant to revolutionize matter transfer, but a failed experiment leaves him glowing, scarred, and deadly. He becomes a living weapon, able to kill with a single touch. On the surface, it's a monster story. Beneath it lies fear of technological progress and government exploitation. Director Ian Curtis clashed with producers demanding gore, while budget constraints forced creative set reuse. Despite these challenges, the film captures sadness as Steiner wanders London, rejected by the world he tried to help. Critics mocked the effects but praised the tone, recognizing its meditation on human ambition, punished by bureaucracy and fear. Today, it resonates as a story of transhumanism, AI, and government secrecy. The Projected Man reminds us that innovation carries risk, and brilliance can be punished when society fears what it cannot control. It's a tragic vision of progress gone awry. These 10 British sci-fi films may have been forgotten, but their visions are more relevant than ever. From nuclear panic to psychological control, from moral dilemmas to technological terror, these stories predicted the future long before it arrived. They were warnings wrapped in imagination, bold, dark, and unforgettable. Which of these films do you think feels closest to reality today? Comment below and let us know. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more hidden cinematic treasures and forgotten prophecies from Britain's silver screen.